Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the live. Happy Sunday, everybody. How's y'all Sunday going? Happy Sunday. Today is a nice day. It's really warm outside, honestly, today. So I'm guessing that it's a good day to be outside. When y'all come in, tell me how's your day going. I'm thinking about a question. I completely forgot to do a question last week, and I don't want to forget to do it, but I don't know a good question to ask, so I'll wait until it comes to me, the best question to ask. But while we think about it, y'all tell me how's your day. Oh my God. Have I been talking this whole time without anybody being able to hear me? That's crazy. I have been talking this entire time and nobody could hear me. Oh my God, y'all can hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? Thank goodness. How y'all doing? Make sure y'all like the live, y'all. Make sure y'all like the live. Everybody, if you like the live one time, I'll give you a high five. 1, 2. See? Anywho, so I'll go ahead and repeat what I was saying. Hey everybody, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the live. I don't know when I pressed the mute button. It could have been when the phone fell. So you probably, if y'all here, y'all probably caught the beginning. But welcome back to the live. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. You thought I put you on disregard. What is that? I don't know if YouTube has disregard. But I do be deleting people. But I don't delete y'all because, why would I delete y'all? Y'all don't do nothing to me. Y'all aid in the conversation. I appreciate you guys. But everybody, my name is Meiana. I'm a sage woman. I help people like you who feel overwhelmed, overworked, and disconnected from themselves. I help you guys get unstuck and build a strong mindset. Right now, today's topic that we're talking about is marriage. So if you're married minded, even if you don't want to get married, if you're just interested in the idea of marriage, this is what today's topic is going to talk about. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about the psychology of marriage today, some of the psychological tips that I have for you guys based on my own theories. We're going to break down the meaning of psychology because today's modern meaning of psychology is not the original meaning. And so I like to go off based off some of the most, I mean, not the most, but I like to go off the original meanings of things more often. So we're going to talk about that. And you may be a little surprised about the original meaning of psychology versus how we use it modern day. Oh, that's so sweet of you, JJ. Hey, cornbread. Hey, y'all. I'm from America, y'all. Yeah, I'm not going to delete you just because you go off topic. I'm not going to delete you just because y'all go off topic. I'll just reroute us to the correct topic. Hey, Rico. How y'all doing today? How are y'all? I got my cardigan on. Is this called a cardigan? I think this is called a cardigan. I got my cardigan on so I can look extra smart today. See, like, people who I'm deleting right now, that's because they going off topic. Like, stuff like that, that's way off topic than the topic today. Let me add something to the oh, I forgot, I'm using YouTube. I'm using the internet now on my computer to use YouTube. Yay. Y'all tell me how y'all Sunday is going before we get started. What y'all been doing this Sunday? Let me know. Hi. Why? Why you feel that way? Thank you, friend. Okay. Say my name, say my name. You acting kind of crazy. And calling me baby. Today's topic is psychology of marriage. Donate to the channel. Here y'all go. Cause you play too much. Yeah, be a better person, friend. Be a better person. Okay, we pinned that, so that's good. We got a starting point, y'all. We got a starting point. Y'all, I'm getting better with this YouTube stuff every single day. I promise y'all. Question for today. Shout out to all my people in the chat. We about to get started in just a second. This topic is a little interesting. We're going to talk about commitment, and we're going to talk about some of the values that people like want. What people value the most in marriage today. If y'all ever see me like get stuck trying to talk, it's because I'm reading something else and trying to figure out if I'm gonna block them. I got two different thoughts happening at the same time. Okay, Chris. Anywho, so where we at? I'm gonna give y'all a poll before we get started. Can you commit? That's a good one. Can you commit? Yes or no? Or I don't know. If you can't commit, then I guess that's just your life, you know? Oh, actually, I don't want to do it on here. I like to do it on the computer now. Because I'm a computer girl, y'all. Shout out to all my women who watch the videos. Hey friend, how you been? Shout out to all my women who watch the videos. If you are a woman and you're watching the videos, say hi. I just want to see you. I just want to see. Hi. I love all the women. As a woman, I'm a girl's girl. So I love seeing women in the chat. And I cannot wait to start seeing more of you guys. I am paying attention to my analytics, y'all. That's why I'm saying these things. I'm paying attention to my analytics. So I'm seeing that there are women who are watching the videos. Y'all are watching the videos. It was a lot of men. Now it's a lot of women. And where y'all at? Because I'm trying to see y'all. I'm trying to say hi. You a man's man? I love that for you. For sure, Rico. Where's she at? Where are the women? Okay, I just gave you guys a poll. Hey, Jorge, welcome back to the live. I just gave you guys a poll to answer. Can you commit? Not the first person already said, I don't know. That's crazy. Oh, two people said, I don't know. Okay, well then, we're getting somewhere, y'all. We're getting somewhere with the answers. So that's going to be our question for today, because if you can't commit, you don't need to get married. Marriage is not for you if you cannot commit at all. Hey, y'all. Hey, Zoya. Hello, Ash. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing this beautiful Sunday? Y'all, when I tell y'all, I'm so ready for this weekend. Y'all know I am a black woman. So it takes about a day to get my hair done. So I'm like, I got a set day. I'm super excited to go get my hair done. I'm ready. I'm ready. That's off topic. But we about to start the conversation right now. Are y'all ready to talk about this? We're going to start the conversation by talking about psychology and the true definition that I think will help you guys understand this conversation a little bit better overall. So when you look into the original definition of psychology, we already know like the psyche, meaning the spirit, the breath, the soul. So when you look into the term psychology, I want you to think the study of someone's soul, the study of someone's spirit. Okay. Hey, y'all. So when we're looking at today for the psychology of marriage, I want you to think the study of how two souls create. Because what happens in marriage? We're thinking about marriage. What psychological state of mind is best to get a job? I don't know. That's not what I study, y'all. These are just the topics that I like to discuss. That is not my job. You scared of job applications? Well, that's really the problem. You should probably not be scared of job applications and go apply to any of them. And then whichever ones hire you first, that's the one you go work at until you figure out what you like. Anywho, so back to what I was saying. So when you think about marriage, this is what I want y'all to think about. Marriage is two people coming together to create. Typically, they're creating lineage, children, property. They're creating property, joining property, maintaining property for longevity. These are the things that are coming together when people think about marriage. So think about those things, because when you think about this, when you think about psychology, the psyche of an individual person, that's what's going to bring people to life. That's the animating spirit. So when you think about psychology of marriage, think about this is what's going to animate this marriage. This is the sole purpose of animating two people to come together to create, which is why people say marriage is so sacred and marriage is of God, because God is the original creative being, right? So when you have two people who join together to create, what's happening? They're living in the idea of what God created us to do, was to create. In marriage, creation is legal, right? It becomes legal, it becomes sacred through the law, right? Okay, friend. So, yeah. So, I want you guys to think about the sole purpose of marriage and not just the mindset, because mindset starts at the soul, right? Who you are at the soul is what creates your mindset. Oh my God. There you go. So there's two things that individuals need, especially when it comes to marriage, and that's going to be survival needs, and then you need the soul level needs. So with survival needs, that's going to consist of safety, shelter, food, stability, all the earthly things. And then at the soul level, we need creativity. We need the ability to build a legacy if necessary, if needed, if we want that, right? So physically, thank you, friend. Physically, things that we're going to think about on the physical level, on the survival level, is income. We're going to think about our home, what we do inside the home, how we protect ourselves, how we protect our home, and how we regulate the stress in our relationship, in our spousal relationship. And on a soul level, we'll think more about building a home, right? Raising children, if that's what you want, making memories that last and that are meaningful, and things that support our community and also our marital legacy. I'm saying our, but I'm talking about whoever is listening to this who has that desire. So the reason why marriage has become so institutionalized is because there's a need to protect what is created within marital relationships. So there's a need to protect the legacy, the property, the children, all those things, because we talked in our previous video about how marriage supports the economy. Hey, friends. So again, think about spiritually, marriage is two souls coming together to create, and legally it's the system that protects what they create. Now, we talked about commitment, and that is the question that I asked you guys today. Before I start talking about it, let's see what everybody voted. So most people say yes, they can commit, and a little bit of people say I don't know, but nobody said no. I'm interested to see who says no, because I'm not just talking about commit just in marriage, in relationships. I just want to see in general. Can you commit in general to anything? So let's talk about commitment. Y'all ready to talk about commitment? So commitment means to unite, to connect, to bring together, and trust and put into someone's charge. So, think about that when it comes to committing to a spouse. You're going to come together, you're going to connect, and you're going to put something in your spouse, right? Some type of trust, most likely. Trust. You're going to put love. You're going to invest these things into your spouse. So at its root, it means to place importance into the shared hands of a union, right? There's something that is important that you're placing as a spouse in a spousal relationship. And oftentimes that is y'all's future. You're trusting that you guys are going to be moving in the same direction and that your future is going to be united. Hey, Fana. So a lot of times, a lot of divorce research shows that people get a divorce because of lack of commitment. That's typically a lot of the reasons, the number one reasons, outside of finances and infidelity, all those things. Lack of commitment in general is why some of these marriages are ending. And some of the studies also show within long-term studies, and this is in an Asian study, what am I trying to say? This is an Asian study, more specifically Malaysian. It found that belief in permanence and promise keeping and resistance to divorce as core as cognitive themes in stable marriages. So basically what they're saying is that what was most important for these Malaysian people who were in this study was that they kept their promise. So obviously I can trust these people, and they don't have a desire to divorce. Mind you, I told myself this was going to be the first thing that I said in this live, and I forgot, but I've been asking different married people their advice on marriage, and this was one of the ones that I heard from someone that was like mind-blowing. And I said, you know what, if anybody needs to hear this, everyone needs to hear this. Everybody needs to hear this one thing, and if you hear this and you disagree with it, I'm gonna get you sideways. But he said that, and mind you, this is an older man, an Indian older man. I believe he's been married most likely over 50 years. Hello. He told me, if you think that the grass is greener on the other side, then you're not committed. I said, ooh. I said, wow, that is such a good thing to say. Like, that makes so much sense. Because as soon as you're looking at someone else's plate, someone else's grass, that's basically showing you, and you so worried about what's going on over there, that's showing you that you're not worried about what's going on in your own world, in your own life, in your own grass, right? You can't commit to wanting what other people have. You have to build where you are. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hey, Andrew. Friend, please stop spamming in the chat. You have to build where you are. And so that's why commitment is so important. Because if you're not committed to where you are, you're going to always be wondering about what everybody else is doing. So, grass is green where you water it, where you do the research to maintain it, where you do the research to grow it, where you love, right? And that's the importance of commitment. So when you're committed, you're not thinking, your first thought is not going to ever be divorce. You're not really going to think about divorce. And then you're going to be more focused on handling the problems that disrupts your spousal bond. Y'all know I love Ramit Sethi. I was watching one of his videos the other day where he was interviewing a black couple, older black couple, and they were talking about how when they get into it, they always kind of have a little funny saying, like talking about divorce and playing with the idea of divorce. Hey, Fana, thank you, baby. How they be like joking about divorce. And Ramit, he stopped and he was like, hold up. Is this a cultural thing? It pissed me off because I was like, they were like, it might be a cultural thing. I'm like, y'all too old to be lying to this man talking about that's a cultural thing. Playing with divorce is not a cultural thing at all. And y'all sitting up here lying to this Indian man who probably don't know slick about black people. And now he probably think that black people be joking about divorce because y'all sitting up here talking about it might be. So she would basically be like playing like, oh, I'm gonna divorce you if we don't get this money right. And then he thought it was all jokes and games. So Ramit was like, so is this actually, are y'all joking? Is this what y'all are doing? And she was like, well, honestly, I'm not always joking when I say that. Like, I'm kind of for real. Yeah, stop sitting up here lying to that man talking about you be joking. Girl, you so dead ass for real, but you don't know how to communicate and just say, hey, I can't do this. Right? Because of what's going on. So jokes like that are not funny at all. You should not joke about divorce or separating from your spouse. For any reason, because guess what, your mind doesn't know. We know subconsciously your mind doesn't know that this is a joke. Your mind does not take in that and say this is a joke, don't believe it. No, it believes what you're saying. Hey, John. So again, marriages stay committed because they have a shared goal. Couples who agree on what marriage is about, which it could be like faith, family, it could be growth and legacy. Like couples who agree on what marriage is report strong cohesion. So that means they stay together longer. They have a more stable relationship when they know why they're together. This is not a love marriage where one day we just found each other on Tinder and we've been dating, and ever since our first date we just been together and we never really communicated about what's going on. Then we just get married because we love each other so much and we already living together, so why not? Now we're just gonna have children, and now we're 2 children in and I don't even know what we're doing. For real. So make sure you communicate these things in your relationships. So share goal, share meaning. Also, cognitive commitment is also there. So they see the marriage for life and treat divorce as a last resort and not a casual option. We're not flirting with the idea of divorce. We see marriage as we're dying in this together. Another thing that keeps marriages committed is emotional intimacy. So again, these are Asian studies done in Indonesia and Malaysia, shows that emotional intimacy plus shared values predict marital satisfaction and long-term commitment. And then again, these relationships that are committed, they repair after conflict. We know that one of the biggest things in marriages is how long it takes to repair issues when there's conflict. Does it take y'all a week, 2 weeks? And now resentment is sitting in? And now can't nobody forgive because y'all damn near forgot what the whole situation was about. But all y'all know is that there was a feeling that y'all didn't like and y'all don't want to do that again. But y'all never communicated. Y'all never repaired it. Now it's just sitting within y'all. Is that what y'all doing? But ain't they Muslim? The Asian people? I don't know what they are. I don't know what their religion is. So couples who forgive, repair, and move forward quickly keep commitment alive in practice, not just in word. Practice meaning every day. Every day you're doing something, you're practicing life together. So commitment is not just a promise from the wedding day. It's not like y'all just, oh, we doing this for funsies. It's our wedding day. It's our wedding day. Let's just look cute and enjoy this and boost our ego. No, This is a lifelong thing. It's how you keep showing up when it would be easier to shut down, withdraw, or walk away. So think about these things. Those are some of the things that's what's going to keep you and your partner committed. And we're going to talk later about values. I'm going to read the comments real quick and look at the votes. We're going to talk later about values and shared goals so that we can see, like, what are your personal values, you know? I know my personal values. One of my values is education, freedom. Freedom of choice, autonomy, and education. Those are like some of my most important values. As you guys can see that I'm always on here talking about what? About things I learned. So, Chris, you said, hold up. Commitment is rare. Humans use words so freely without understanding the meaning. And then Chris said, it's human nature to compare your relationship to someone else. That's how divorce happens. Yeah, I do think that's human nature, Chris. Look at you adding something that makes sense, Chris. I'm so happy for you. Commitment is not just about being able to give. It's about being able to align your values, time, and energy with something greater than yourself. To recognize that you're not ready for it, it takes a rare kind of wisdom. Perhaps the true commitment lies in knowing when you're not prepared to offer fully. Ooh. Marriage is sacred. No, marriage is sacred and I respect it to the fullest. Hopefully one day a woman will give me the honor to allow someone to hold part of me that I guard so deep with care. Andrew, I thought you was married already. You not married? Y'all don't stand ghost of a chance. What? You are not married giving marriage advice. Sounds like a scam. If I never built a house, would you listen to me about building one? Okay, thank you for your input. I appreciate your input, Herb, or Herb, however you pronounce it. So let's talk about values. Okay, so values are the things that matter so much to you that you're willing to sacrifice for them. Okay, you're willing to sacrifice. Y'all ever been like, just, I'm about to quit this job, y'all got me messed up? Have I done that before? I've definitely walked away from jobs when I was younger. I've definitely walked away. Okay, Herb, I think this is probably a good thing because you seem interested in the conversation, but you don't trust the person who's talking about it because I'm unmarried. So let me tell you the reason why we're having this conversation. And hello, shout out to London. I'm going to give you insight on the reason why I'm having this conversation. So at one point in my analytics, majority of the people who watch my channel were men, and they spoke highly about wanting to get married. So many people wanted to be in relationships or get married, and I value gratitude, education, learning, and manifestation on this channel. So I like to provide information, specifically evidence-based information about the topics that I discuss, because once you know, you grow in the direction that you desire. So we don't typically have these conversations about marriage, at least in my community. I was not raised with these conversations. So I like to provide this information online. You as an individual can listen. I don't ask of anybody to, believe everything that I say, but just know that I am discussing what I research from peer-reviewed articles. I'm not just saying BS, and I'm not lying and telling you guys that I'm married, okay? So understand that I'm coming from the perspective of I want to support people who want to get married, and I want to support them by giving them the information that they need to build a solid, strong foundation before getting married. Okay, so if you watch any of the previous videos, that's what we're discussing. That's how most of the people who are consistently in my live, I got a strong community in here. I love my people. So you'll see that they're going to tell you about what's going on in this chat most of the time before I do. Les said, I've been married, never doing that again. I'm dead. So, effort is hot. Fana, you're hilarious. Even if you was married, I'm hold up. I'm trying to keep a strong face. So we're going to go ahead and continue the conversation, y'all. So values. Values are important if you decide to get married, okay? Values are the things that matter so much to you that you're willing to sacrifice for them. You gonna sacrifice everything. So like, it's like a mom. You know, moms value their children, hopefully a healthy mom. They value their children and the needs of their children. They will lose sleep. They will lose money if the child is sick. They will lose so much just to make sure that their child is prioritized. So you see what your values are based on what you're prioritizing. So these could be like your faith, your spiritual beliefs. Shout out to Sunday, whoever went to church. Shout out to everybody who went to church. Loyalty, honesty, financial stability, children. These are values, okay? These are things that people could value. Peace, adventure, growth, freedom, tradition, and community. Those are just a few examples. So whatever you value, you need to know that before you decide to get with somebody and commit to them. Because what if they don't value that? And y'all know that this is the book that I'm reading currently, and specifically in the African American community, this is what it focuses on. One of the things that they talk about is how more Black women, you know, are highly educated compared to Black men. And because of that, it creates a cultural difference within the African American community where more Black women value education, and it shows through what they're doing, and Black men don't. So it creates a division, right? And so when you have those value differences, it creates disruption in the relationship. Because there was a specific couple talked about in this book where she was highly educated and she met a man, they got together, she moved him in. Okay. Herb, I appreciate your participation in the chat, but I need you to not spam. Okay, I do love your input, Herb, but please do not spam. So, like I was saying, the person who was discussed in the book, eventually they ended up having children, and because he did not go to school, he was not educated in the with a degree. He did not value her putting money towards their children's education, putting them in private schools. He much had rather her went and put that into a car. So they eventually ended up getting divorced because she wanted to invest her money in the children's education. He didn't see value in that. Okay. So in marriage, values are the rules of the soul. So these are what's going to determine what feels respectful and what feels disrespectful. And they decide what feels like home versus I'm not supposed to be here. So why do you need your values going into marriage? You need to know your values so you can communicate them. Again, lack of communication will ruin a relationship, right? And if you cannot communicate your values, especially verbally, because a lot of times people communicate their values, but it's not verbally, it's nonverbal. They communicate their values based on what they spend their money on, what is on their social media, what they're paying attention to, right? Like Herb, he just communicated his values of wanting to be right and creating a hostile environment. That's his value. He values wanting to be right so bad, he'll create a hostile environment, right? So same way in marriages, you want to think about these things so you can communicate them without creating a hostile environment. And we got a first-hand experience with somebody who do this if you're watching the chat. Shout out to the people who are not in the chat currently who did not see what happened because it was deleted. And so if you don't know your values going into marriage, you can't tell your partner those, so you won't be able to honor them. Your partner won't be able to honor them because you don't even know. You haven't even told your partner, I value healthy meals. And now your partner going out eating McDonald's because they stressed out, and you like, this is an unsafe environment. I don't know, you eat McDonald's all the time. I don't know about you. Now you want to ruin your marriage because your partner eat McDonald's. I'm being dramatic. But and also, if you don't know your values, you end up reacting to disrespect that you never named. You never even told your partner that this was a value. Your partner do something against your values, and now you feel some type of way, and now there's chaos in the marriage because you never communicated about this, right? So you have to take a little bit of time to reflect so you know, okay, I can commit to this. I can commit to this person because we share similar values. Andrew, you said, while supporting each other's goals and be able to laugh together through the tough times. So some questions you can ask yourself is, what would I never sacrifice in my life, right? Because not only do you need to know your values, you need to also know what you don't value. There are some things that you just don't care about. Like, okay, right? And so sometimes you have to you should discuss your top values, and you should discuss what you don't value at all, right? There's some things that I just don't value. What would that be? Like, I wouldn't even know to think about any of them right now because I just don't value them. Let's see. What's something that I don't value? I don't value types of cars, right? Let's say types of cars. I don't care about different types of cars. I care about the car that I drive, and that's it. And maybe an Audi, because that's my dream car, an Audi. Yep. So those are the only things that I would care about. Somebody drove past me in an old, I don't know, because I know old cars are very, like, popular. A lot of people like old cars. Somebody drove past me in an old car. I might look at it, but I'm going to go about my day and never think about it again. Okay? So think about, what are these people valuing? What would I leave a relationship over? Most people disrespect. A lot of people don't care about disrespect. They think it's normal. What makes me feel alive and most safe? These are things you want to think about. And understand what most versus least valuable to each other, like I just said. So research on marital cohesion, so the coming together of marriage, emphasizes that a lot of times the most valued is shared meaning of the marriage. So most people value having a shared goal, a shared vision about what they want for their lifetime. That means that you and your partner are looking at each other and saying, when we are 80 years old, this is what we want our life to look like together. This is what we want our life to look like together. Another one is religious or spiritual compatibility. So most of the time, people are going to desire to share similar beliefs. Block party, I'm dead. Y'all, make sure y'all like the live, y'all. Make sure y'all like the live. Shout out to my people. Another value that most marriages value is emotional intimacy and feeling emotionally safe. Another one is reliability, trusting each other's judgment. So just like I said earlier in the Malaysian study, or I think it was Malaysian study that I mentioned, and they were talking about keeping promises. You said, I'm going to pick you up from work at 7 o'clock. You going to be there at 7 o'clock, not 7:30. You say, I'm going to call you and I'm going to do da-da-da-da. You're going to do that. Right? You say, I'm going to come with you to the stores. You're going to do that. Okay? So another one is being emotionally supported in stress. So dang, I just had a hard day at work. Is my partner going to be here to support me through that emotional stress? And then another one is sexual and physical intimacy as bonding, not just performance. We know that anybody can have sex. Most people have the parts for it. Most people. But does that mean that it's intimate and it creates a bonding experience that is long lasting in both people's memories because of the emotional intimacy that was so strong during those moments, right? It's not just a performance. It's not like we're just doing it just to do it. We're doing it because we want to create memories. So next thing, some people care less about hobbies. We don't have to both like snowboarding for us to be married. We don't both have to love cooking for us to have a happy cohesive relationship. And then just having fun. Having fun does not just build, is not the only foundation. These are the lower, less central things that people value, right? It's there, but it's not as valuable compared. So, again, top reasons for divorce: lack of commitment, too much conflict, infidelity, financial stress, unrealistic expectations, and lack of equality. We need autonomous human beings in the marriages. Not one person. It shouldn't just be one person in the marriage is autonomous and the other person depends on him or her. Two people, two autonomous people come together to build a strong marital relationship. So, understand that people value respect, commitment, peace, and honesty. It's not just about we just gonna have fun together. We're gonna listen to the same music all day and we gonna go skating because we love skating so much, and we gonna go and eat ice cream after that because we both just value having fun. Because what is that? That doesn't show trust, doesn't show honesty, right? It builds a relationship, but we're looking for a strong foundation. So again, people don't usually divorce because they didn't both like each other or like the hobbies that they did. They divorced because of broken trust, emotional chaos, constant conflict, and feeling like there's no real we anymore. Which we talked about the using we in our relationships and how that builds the bond. And we're going to talk more about that at this moment as well. Let's look at the votes. We got 30 votes, y'all. Make sure y'all like the video, y'all. Double tap, double tap. Oh my God. Okay. So we got 60% said yes, they can commit. 13% said no, they can't commit. And 27% said I don't know. So it's good that people are being honest and saying that they don't know that if they can commit or not. Because honesty is the best policy. And once you can be honest about what you do and don't know, you can take your next step from there. I will say if you do want to know, take time. I think that if you watch this video today, you should know if you can commit or not to something. Once you know your values and you know what's the most important to you and what's the least important to you, you'll be able to better identify if you can commit to something today. So let's talk about the we, W-E, psychology of marriage. If you saw the thumbnail, I put a picture of a couple sitting down and they're like in their own bubble. And inside of it, it says we. Because it's a we. We, not them. It's a we. So there is a psychological pattern that shows up again and again in long-term stable marriages. And that is the me versus you. Me versus you. Us versus the problem. So long-lasting couples think in the we mindset, right? Even in the mindset, they think in the we, not just saying it verbally. Even in thought, it's a we. So they're going to ask questions like, how are we going to handle this problem? They're not going to think about their partner and say, they're the problem. My partner is the problem, right? No, the problem is not the partner when you're in a committed relationship. As long as they're not beating you, okay? I'm going to put that in there. No abuse. We're not talking about abusive relationships, okay? We're talking about everyday problems like frustration. Your partner is frustrated. Okay, the problem is not your partner. The problem is the frustration. How do me and my partner how do we handle this frustration that my partner has, okay? So research on marital cohesion, coming together in a marriage, shows couples who attribute conflict to shared stress, i.e. work pressure, money stress, rather than blaming each other, have a higher cohesion. So, you want to think about the psychology of marriage, think about it in we. We are not blaming each other. We're identifying the problem and we're targeting that problem. Every day you coming home frustrated and stressed out. Well, the problem seems to be your job, not me. I'm not the problem. It's the job. So let's think more about it. What exactly about the job is frustrating? Is they not paying you enough? Is your boss being a prick? Is there the coworkers there annoying you? Right? How do we figure this problem out as a unit? So this doesn't mean avoiding responsibility in a relationship. That doesn't mean that, okay, my partner is frustrated. Okay, so they could take their frustration out on me, right? Okay, that doesn't mean that. It just means that we're facing life as a unit, not as enemies. Your partner will not be your enemy unless they are abusive to you. Then that is your enemy. Leave, get out. So again, other things that relationships do, couples do, when they want to build strong cohesion and a strong foundation for their relationship, is they have a shared meaning for their marriage. So couples literally said, for us, marriage is about teamwork and worship. We raise our kids and build our life with the same vision. So that actually came from, let me see, let me look at this real quick. Oh, not it downloaded. That came from a journal called a study called Cognitive, Affective, and Behavioral Components of Marital Cohesion. So it was a multiple case study. What was the outcome of this? Oh, here it is. So it says effective, AFFECTIV, cohesion encompass emotional intimacy, love and affection, emotional support, forgiveness, emotional presence, and emotional boundary setting. It's a lot of emotions. And then there's multiple different types of cohesion. They got behavioral, affective, cognitive cohesion. So there's a lot of ways that blends a marriage together. That's beautiful. That's super beautiful. So then you have belief in permanence, long-term vision, promise keeping, and valuing the marital bond as something to protect. So that's another thing that married spouses are committed to, is protecting the bond that they have. And then they trust their partner. They actually trust each other's decision making and seek each other's input before major choices. And again, I mentioned the Ramit Sethi video earlier with the older couple. They had multiple children, and I believe their children were all grown. And one of the biggest issues with their finances is that he did not trust his wife. Even though his wife went back to school, had multiple degrees, because I think he was just a military man. I don't know if he had degrees. It wasn't mentioned from my memory. But his wife had multiple degrees, highly educated, but she said that he never listened to her first. He had to get the input from a man before he would listen to it. And so obviously that's disconnecting them in their relationship because he's not listening to her. He doesn't value her opinion. And then also there was not a trust and judgment because he would just go out and buy cars. Girl, I don't know how she dealt with this man for so long. Because she said that every time they would have a child, he would be out and buying new cars instead of investing that money somewhere else. So they had so many financial issues. He didn't have a retirement. She was trying to save for her retirement. Like it was just all over the place. But was it that there was financial issues that they were dealing with initially? No. Their problems stem from lack of trusting in the partner and lack of talking to your partner about important decisions. So those are all the things that you're going to think about when you think about we, right? What is our shared vision? What are we committed to in thoughts? And how do we trust each other's judgment? That's where mutual respect come in. Shaking my head. No, for real. I said, oh, girl, y'all grown now. Like grown children. She talking about divorce. I'm like, baby, see, a lot of these problems, they've been happening. That's why y'all who are married need to go into the we mindset and say we need therapy immediately. we need to figure out what we value, because obviously he valued new cars and his ego stroked by men. She valued education, financial stability, saving. She valued her future. He did not. So values were not aligned. You said, nah, the problem was her not leading the relationship and letting that little boy run something. He had no business. That's funny. Mind you, he was older than her too. He was like, I think it was like a 10-year age gap. I think she might have been attracted to his stability because he was a military man. He had his own idea of stability. But also on top of that, the problem was he was a military man who was used to taking orders from men because that was his career. So that's all he did. And he did not know how to just live his own life. Yeah, it's crazy. So some more things to think about when you think about commitment in relationship, whether you should commit or not, how you can commit, is emotional intimacy. So, feeling safe to be vulnerable, whether that means you're crying, you're admitting that you're afraid, or you're sharing inner versions of yourself that not everybody can see. You're being very, what's the word? Vulnerable is the word. You're being vulnerable with your partner. You can be vulnerable about how you feel, what's going on, and not feel like your partner is going to demonize those vulnerabilities. So again, with that same Malaysian study, someone said, I can cry in front of him without shame. That's how I know I'm not alone. And so being there in hard times is another one. So being emotionally supportive, listening without judgment, and showing empathy. Another one is forgiveness and emotional recovery. So letting go of resentment. Again, remember, forgiveness is what's going to be one of the most important things as well, outside of emotional support and trust and values. Because when you forgive, you can get over conflict. Conflict is normal. You have two separate individuals. Conflict is going to come up in any way. It doesn't mean it's crazy conflict that just disrupts the whole system of y'all's marriage. It just means that maybe one day y'all won't agree on something. Maybe somebody want to go to Ruth Chris and the other person want to go to Cheesecake Factory. And now y'all got a little bit of conflict because y'all don't want to go to different places. So again, letting go of resentment, choosing to move forward after fights. And couples often had informal rules like we hug before the next morning, right? So whatever your rules are in your relationship, we don't go to bed mad at each other. I know that's a lot of people's rule. We hug every morning. We kiss every day. We hug 3 times a day. Like, these are good rules to have in your marriage so that conflict does not sit in and build resentment. So remember, marriage is never going to be 50-50. Please don't sit up here and think that y'all going to be splitting everything 50-50. Sometimes you're going to have to be the bigger person and be the first one to say, hey, you know what? I don't want us to be mad at each other. Let's hug. Let's breathe together. So, remember to forgive quickly, or resentment will come into play. Another thing, because I've been thinking more about our leisure conversation. We already had the leisure conversation when it came to couples, but I want to do it again for the marriage conversation and discuss some of the same things. But on top of that, I want to expand that. I'm still trying to figure out how to expand that conversation past what we discussed already. But I'm going to think about it. But for now, remember that shared daily routines are important. So eating together, especially eating at the dinner table and talking about the day that y'all experience, the emotions that y'all experience, that's going to support you and your partner in knowing what's happening in y'all's day-to-day life. John, thank you, friend. How that Neo go? Tell us how the song go. Say what needs to be said. Yes. Come to understanding and move on. Yes. So checking in, watching shows together that you guys enjoy, and having conversations about those shows, praying together. These are routines that will keep you guys locked in. And then also making sure that you and your partner are making decisions together, that you're not just making important life decisions like buying cars and homes without talking to your partner when y'all are in a legally binding contract where they'll be affected by what you do. And so these things will consist of budgeting together, knowing the budget, being aware of how much money is coming in and out of y'all's household, making parental decisions together, planning for y'all's future together, right? So what we want to make sure that you guys have a team mindset when it comes to how your union is going about y'all's life. How y'all going about y'all's life as a union. And then also showing that you care. These are going to be behaviors that are going to keep you guys together. Showing that you care. So this looks like small acts of kindness. Drinking tea together, making a meal, checking on each other's health. You know, one day you notice your partner, your health is just, you doing too much, partner. Let me go make you a smoothie. Let's go get a smoothie. Maybe we don't have to make it. Let's go get one, baby. That's why men live longer. If y'all didn't know. That's why men live longer. So those are going to be the daily behaviors that keep you and your partner together. Remember, we have emotional cohesion, you know, feeling intimate, having emotional support, forgiving, and having emotional recovery. We have behavioral cohesion. That's day-to-day experiences that y'all have together, making decisions together, and showing each other that you care about each other. And then we also want to make sure that cohesion occurs in the nervous system as well. Nervous system regulation. You and your partner needs to co-regulate as a couple. So long-term couples often act like regulators for each other's nervous system, even if they don't use that wording, right? So your partner, you had a tough day at work, your partner comes and touches your hand while you talk to them. And then they respond to you in a calm voice. And they are present with you and they let you know, I'm listening to you. They're showing in their nonverbal cues that they're listening and engaged and care about what you're saying. Thus going to regulate your nervous system. That vagus nerve will be regulated. So, you know, when you and your partner know how to co-regulate y'all's nervous system together through whatever means that y'all do that, whether that's through breathing, hugging, loving each other, engaged body language, all those things, yes. That's going to support you guys in having a better cohesion as well. And it's going to lower stress, and it's going to start, you're going to start identifying your partner as your safe place instead of your enemy. And then on top of that, making sure that you guys have the ability to grow within y'all's container of marriage. So in healthy marriages, each person is allowed to continue becoming, not shrinking. So self-actualization, if you guys have not watched that self-actualization video, make sure you guys go and watch the self-actualization video that we discussed in regards to marriage, because that was a really good video. So in healthy marriages, each person is allowed to continue becoming, again, not shrinking. They support each other's evolving in identity, career shifts, and spiritual growth. You want to make sure that you support identity shifts, because that's another thing that can disrupt a marital relationship, is when identity starts to shift. And now people are coming back like, I don't know how to handle this because they're a different person. And it's like, well, that was to be expected. So, you know, being prepared to handle the shifts that comes within you and your partner's identity, and still being committed to the shared values and goals that you had. And a good marriage doesn't kill the self. It gives the self more room to grow inside of a secure container. So remember, make sure that you guys are thinking about, if you are planning to get married or you are married, you're thinking about your spouse and or partner in the mindset of we. How are we raising children? How are we creating a stable income? How are we serving God or our spiritual mission, whatever beliefs we have? How are we building generational wealth? How are we impacting our community? How are we living good? And how are we building a meaningful life? We are building something together. Remember that. That's the psychology of marriage, is having the foundation that we are building and creating a life together. So that's what I have for you guys today in regards to our conversation. All together, I want to emphasize the values before we get off of here for today. So again, some of the most values that couples have in the United States, because earlier we talked a lot about Asian studies, but I want to mention the United States. Some of the most values are trust and fidelity. Fidelity, not infidelity. Trust and fidelity. Honesty and authenticity. Communication and transparency. Share meaning and purpose. So that means that we're doing this life thing together. Emotional support and companionship. Stability, whether that's financial, emotional, or relational. And another one is respect and feeling known by your partner. Less often prioritized in these relationships in long-term marriages are having identical hobbies or identical entertainment. So that means that, one person might like to smoke cigars. Your partner doesn't have to like to smoke cigars for y'all to have a long-term marriage. Another less often prioritized value is high level of novelty or constant excitement. I think that when people get in ruts, that becomes a higher value. But on average, in long-term stable marriages, they're not thinking about, okay, we need this novelty, right? But it is important. I'm not saying that this is not important at all. It's still important. It's just not something that you're going to need every single day. You're not going to need to wake up every day and say, let's do something new. Let's go travel out, You might think, okay, maybe once a month, let's do something novel, right? That's probably more important on a once a month, or maybe even a once every few months if it consists of traveling. Another one is perfect equality in every task. So, you don't need your partner to be just as good as you at cooking if you enjoy cooking, right? Another less often prioritized value is external validation. So people are not valuing how other people see their marriage. People are not worried about being flashy. They just really want to know that they have a shared trust, shared meaning, and that they know each other, and that they have each other's back in a marriage, right? So I want you guys to think about y'all's own personal values in your life. Let me get a list of values. List of personal values. And I want you guys to think about what that is for you. Is that exercise? Okay, so here's some. Thank you, Rico. You said you don't have anyone to think about nowadays. I've been on this self journey for almost 2 years. That's a good amount of time. 2 years is a good amount of time, though, honestly. Oh, y'all want to see my baby? Come here, baby. Come here, baby. He was asleep. I just woke him up for y'all. You want to see my son? He went outside this morning. He's back in the house. Son, you see your yunkles and yanties. So here's a list of values, personal values that you could have. Accountability, compassion, courage. Oh, baby, courage is a big one. I love people who are courageous, who do what they need to do. Creativity, curiosity, discipline, authenticity, achievement, beauty. Gratitude, loyalty, acceptance, forgiveness, honesty, competence, family, generosity, ambition, adventure, determination, balance, challenge, commitment, freedom. Why am I not seeing education? Is education not on the list? Integrity, loyalty, honesty, and authenticity. That's yours, John. You know he don't care. Wisdom, success, growth, excellence, friendship, connection. There are some people who value friendship over family. There's some people who value friendship over family. So, you get in a marriage, you value family, and you want to go to Thanksgiving with your family, but your partner is like, I would prefer to go to Thanksgiving with my friends. um, so yeah, those are just a few. I think there's so many. There's so many lists of values, and I think that it will be supportive to you guys if you guys are wanting to be married, or even outside of marriage, knowing your own personal values so that you don't get in ruts. Because I think that a lot of times what happens, y'all know that in my favorite book, if you guys want to go get it, link down below in the description. You Are Programmed. This in the book, it tells you guys about what stops people from manifesting and achieving their goals and being successful. What stops people from being successful often is a lack of awareness of what they want. And the thing about it is, if you know your values, it will be a constant compass in your life. So when you're going through times where you don't know what's going on, or you feel stuck and you want to get unstuck, if you know your core values, you'll at least know the direction to go, even if you don't know the end goal. So it's kind of like being in a boat in the mist at the nighttime and it's a storm, and then you don't have the map no more. Well, you'll know the values will be like that light in the distance that gives you a direction of where to go, even if you don't know what that looks like, right? So know your values for yourself. Look it up. I wonder if they have a value quiz. Let me see. If they do, I'm a values quiz. They have to. They got to have a values quiz. Discover your personal values with this quick quiz. Find the clarity and purpose in under 15 minutes. We're going to do the 15-minute one. I hope this don't cost money. Let's see. Your values should be something you take very serious. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Facts. Select 10 values. Let me see. Does this cost money? Unlimited extended results at the price of 2 assessments. Free online. Well, it says it's free, so maybe it'll give you a free answer. I don't know. Let me do this. Free personal value assessments. Not a worksheet. That's an easy 5 minutes. How about I give y'all this in the chat? Let's see if the chat allow me to put the link. And then you guys can figure out the rest for yourself. Oh, it's too long. It's not going to let me put in the chat, y'all. Y'all just going to have to look it up for yourself. It's not going to let me put in the chat. So y'all go ahead and y'all do a personality assessment for yourself. So y'all know. Maybe this one will let me put it in the chat. Okay. Y'all see it? So y'all can go ahead and do that before we leave if y'all have a desire to do so. Take your little value quiz so you guys can know what to commit to. I'm going to go ahead and look at the ending of our poll before we get off of here. So can you commit? 59% said yes, 16% said no, and 25% said I don't know. Love that for you guys. You saved the link? Okay. Oh, you see the link. Okay, there you go. Good, good, good. So y'all think that y'all can commit? What is your personal gain out of teaching self-worth and growth within our confidence? I see that you put so much effort on the impressive ways you break this down the way you do. Oh, well, thanks for the compliment. I don't have anyone to think about. Okay, yeah. Let me answer your question, friend, Andrew. So what is a personal gain out of teaching? Well, personally, I like education, like I told you guys. I personally like knowing things and learning things and making sense of the world around me. Because I feel like once I know what's going on, I can confidently choose what I want for myself. So for me, education builds confidence personally. And it's not just like learning things that builds it, but actually educating myself and building my intelligence, because intelligence is just the ability to apply the knowledge that you have. So for me, it's like, okay, I learned this and I'm going to actually take this information that I have and do something about it. I'm going to make a decision about the life that I want for myself. You know, because I used to joke and I said, like, I'm being married next year, I'm be married. But it was me literally just joking, because people will come on here asking me, like, I want to marry you. Can we get married? But with this conversation, it makes marriage more concrete and more real. Personally, me growing up around people who were not, I didn't really grow up around a lot of, I'm not gonna say I didn't grow up around a lot of marriages. There were marriages that I grew up around, but it wasn't any that I could like say, oh my God, I want this. Most of the women around me, they were single mothers. So when I was a child, I had the mindset of single mother, if that makes sense. So as I grew and I learned the world and I experienced firsthand different relationships, I realized, oh, I don't have to be a single mom, you know? So that's why I value education, because the more you know, the more you grow. And I could put myself in different environments that show that that's not going to happen. You know, I don't have to stick to what I know. I can do something different. Thank you, Rico. You have a positive impact on those kids. I know they love you all. Thank you, friend. What did you choose? What do you mean, Andrew? What did I choose? Knowledge is meaningless without the practice of willingness. Yes. Just being willing to do something about it and see things differently. Because imagine if I was just like one of those people who was like, you can't trust man. I grew up around single moms. They were nowhere to be found. Then I get stuck in a mindset and then I don't grow, right? I've always been that person, like even through my own spiritual awakening, which led me to be who I am today. I would watch all types of videos. I would watch videos about preachers. I would watch sermons, not female. Y'all know I don't like female all the time. But I would watch women who were preachers, men who were preachers, young preachers, old preachers. I would watch, I would listen to spiritual leaders like Louise Hay and other spiritual leaders. I would even listen to people who would talk about being like devil worshipers. I would listen to people who talked about that. I would listen to people who would talk about being spiritual, who transitioned back to Christianity. Because I grew up in a Christian religion, Baptist to be specific. So I took all that and I was like, what makes the most sense to me? I took all of that information. I picked and chose within all of what I listened to. I used to watch near-death experiences, what they would say. And I used to try to look up demonic possessions. Mind you, I can never really find a video. I don't know if it was because I was a kid and I was a young adult. I wasn't a kid, I was a young adult. I probably was like, what? I was like 21, 22, 23, looking all this stuff up. But I could never find a video of demonic possessions. Like, for real. But anywho, that's off topic. But that's just me telling you that when I'm curious about something and I can't get it off my mind, I research and I figure out what the hell is going on. What the hell is going on? So yeah, y'all. Anything else y'all want to talk about before we get off of here? Oh, what did you choose from the question you put up? Can you commit? Oh, yes, I can definitely commit. Let me tell you how I know. Because I have committed to coming on YouTube at least once a week for over a year. For over a year, I've committed to coming on YouTube. And I'm still here. And I've committed to going live on YouTube for 3 days a week. Even when I don't want to do it. This morning, I went out yesterday, y'all. I was outside. I was outside yesterday. I went to this event. It was really fun. And let's just say that I had a couple of drinks and I was not expecting to drink that much. And baby, I was like, out of here. I was like, I gotta come. No. And so I woke up this morning like, oh my God, I would rather be asleep. But I willed myself to get up out of my bed and be here with you guys today. Hi. So yes, I most definitely can commit to what I see value in. And I see value in coming in here, on here, building a community. We came to what, 3,000 subscribers? That's amazing. And I got most of these subscribers in like a few months. So I definitely see the value in coming in here with you guys. I'll put some hearts in the chat. Oh wait, no, that's not what I wanted to do. That's the wrong heart that I wanted to do. I wanted to do hold up. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Yes. There y'all go. Okay, y'all, my people. I don't wanna, how do you say, I don't wanna leave, but I gotta go right now. I'll be back before you know. I'll see y'all tomorrow, y'all. We're gonna talk about money. We're gonna talk about money in marriages. Specifically, I was reading in this book how I was reading in the book about how a man's money is for the family, and a lot of times women, they be like, my money is my money. So I wanted to talk more about why, like, I wanted to see, like, why is that? I wanted to see how that is happening. So yeah, y'all, I'm excited to talk about it tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow on Monday evening, 6 o'clock Central Time. Have a good day, y'all. Bye-bye.